so sorry. Sorry.
This meeting is being recorded.
I thought you were on link there when you said
I'm
you're on.
super worried about my
Oh, not the space again.
big time.
Shit.
Yeah, big time worried now. Shit.
Okay, you got 5 minutes. What do you want? How do you?
Okay, just to let people know I haven't got much space left on my computer.
Well, should
Oh,
I?
bloody hell.
Oh, I can't beat. I can't record.
Oh, I know something I can possibly do. Do you want to tell them what's going on?
We have a surprise guest today. David doesn't know who it is.
No, I have no idea who this is going to be.
Listen, when we have a surprise guest, there's quite a lot of sort of texting about who it is, even though we know the other person isn't going to tell you. So
Yeah, it's quite nice to try and get little cluesy.
There's a very specific reason this person's on, which will.
I don't feel like I'm prepared. I'm
Well,
just
you're not, are you?
going to storage on my Mac. Right, so we got loads of space now. I'm done.
Okay. So, guest. I've nearly said this person's name about 3 times because we put things in calendars and emails and stuff. I've written the name and then had to change it to surprise guest quite a few times.
Oh, really?
Yes, I've nearly given it away, but
I don't know how to feel about this. I sort of don't know what's.
I don't know what's going to
Are
happen.
they well known?
Yeah.
Have I met them?
Don't think so. See, we're doing this again. I'm not good.
No, I know, but I feel a bit. I suddenly feel like I'm shivering.
You're coming down with something because
No, I think it's all nerves and stuff. I think.
when you get nervous, how do you feel? What's your go-to? Because when I'm nervous, I feel sick and I can't eat and things like that.
Oh, do you remember George Rygold?
Yeah, lovely George. He was great.
God, what's his real name? Fucking. Anyway, I gigged with him a lot in the early days. I guess we were on the same because he was a character act, and he would be like
Before the
quite
gig?
disturbing. Yeah, a lot of retching.
I've heard that quite a few people, like famous people and stuff. Like I remember hearing what Pamela Stevenson talking about Billy Connolly, like having a panic attack before he was about to go on and stuff.
Really?
Yeah, he was really shitting himself. And I was like, oh right, fucking hell, it's not healthy.
I
Is it?
listened to Jimmy Carr on. You heard it on Comedian's Comedian.
Yes.
He had a panic attack during his act
Did he?
on stage, like a proper panic attack,
Oh my god.
but sort of knows how to deal with
How
it.
do you
and
not
so-
joke your way out of that? Because that's fucking terrifying. I've never had a proper panic attack.
Oh yeah,
What
it's
happened?
horrible.
Did you struggle to breathe and stuff?
I can't tell. It's like it's so scary. It's like impending doom. It feels like I've got a heart attack coming. It's just it's horrendous. It's so horrendous.
Okay, no. Alright. We should lighten it up before I guessed. That's my fault, sorry.
Oh right, okay. Sorry for not making it comfortable.
No,
for our
my
surprise
fault.
guest.
My fault for asking you what a panic attack was like.
Yeah.
Which I always do as a little thing before a guest is coming on. What's this?
Well, my bowels have been evacuated.
Oh, that's good. Makes a nice change. You don't have to run off and have a plop. No, you held it all right last time, didn't you?
Yeah.
When we had Dermot on. I wonder if Dermot's got our present.
When did you send it?
2 weeks ago, maybe.
Ooh, not heard anything. Ooh.
That's my neediness, isn't it?
Tweet him.
No!
Give him a
Dermot,
little tweety.
remember
You got
us?
my present? Okay, I'm nervous. I'm shaking. I've felt like I was being quite relaxed, and now I'm like, fucking hell, who is this I'm about
What?
to talk to?
When it's I don't enjoy it. I don't enjoy it. I wake up with anxiety and stuff.
Because I see it. Oh God, I don't like it. It's fucking Sarah Ferguson. The princess.
I thought, I genuinely thought, how's that happened? I thought,
Hello, boys.
tell us about Budgie the flying helicopter.
Oh, God.
How is
A little
Andrew?
bit. I need to put a jumper on.
Stop doing that with your
Put a
shoulders.
jumper on.
He's going to turn up right now. How can I still hear him breathing? Anything?
I feel really nervous. I've got internal. Oh, I know who this is. Surely.
Have they arrived? Have they arrived? We should say their name this time because we never say their names. Oh, connecting with audio.
Hello.
Well, fuck my boots.
Hello, Greg. How are you?
Greg, did
Hello,
you
how you
know-
doing?
Greg, I responded like that because I didn't know who was coming on. Did you know that?
Did I tell you?
Yeah, well, I knew. Yeah, I knew there was a surprise element. But I've never been greeted with "fuck my boots" before, but I want that every time I turn up to anything.
Oh,
Yeah,
well, I never.
There you go.
Can you hear me?
Lovely.
Yeah, you got.
Big time.
I don't know. Can you hear me through? Can you hear me through this, or because I'm supposed to be a professional?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Can you hear us?
Yeah, but I can hear you through the thing.
God,
Hang
you're
on, one
crap
sec.
at this, Greg.
You are a bad broadcaster.
Yeah, I want to do my broadcast.
Yeah.
Where are
Yeah.
your people in the hallway?
Yeah, they're out there. Yeah.
I've got loads of things going on in my mind at the moment. I've got Jimmy Anderson. I've got Radio 1, the breakfast show. I've got John Kearns.
Calm down.
Oh right. So can I just
John
interrupt
Kearns?
you with the John Kearns thing?
What's the John
Yeah.
Kearns thing?
So John Kearns is one of my best mates.
Where is he? I didn't know that.
We went to university together and we lived together
Ah.
for a few years and we're just
Wow.
great pals. He's one of the greatest men ever. And he's
He's
one
a
of the
lovely
funniest
man.
men of all time.
Bit weird you haven't got him on as a sidekick.
Well, we did. In the early days, because I'm a number one talent spotter. Before he even won his first Edinburgh, we had him on the afternoon show, and he did a feature called "Help Me, Johnny," where he was just doing his agony advice, like he was just saying,
good.
or maybe you should be, trying to date other people. Things like
That is all he does, isn't it?
Yeah.
Take the voice away now. Nada.
But he didn't even need the wig and the teeth because it was obviously radio. But do you know what? We were the first time I came across Brian Gittins was because of John. And John,
really?
So still to this day, and it's bizarre that I'm doing a sort of sound check with you on a podcast because to this day, regularly we do test from the old Spreaker shows. Do you remember?
Well,
that?
I've been talking about that loads because our film's just come out, and so they keep asking, "Where's this come from? This idea?" And so every interviewer just saying, "Well, I did this terrible phone-in show, and Rupert."
Amazing.
Oh, it was so much fun.
It's one of the funniest sort of 5 to 10 minutes of podcasts I've ever heard in my life. I actually found it last night.
Yeah, I know.
it's
I know.
still around.
I feel like that website needs to get.
Test. It is Joe, do you even know what we're talking about? That?
No,
do you
I
even know
don't
that?
know.
It's a mad thing where you were.
I know
it
the
was
show, but I didn't know what.
it was a robot that you were trying to dial in. I found it last night. I was going to play it, but I can't find the page now. But it was good. Anyway, so yeah.
Oh, wow.
Surprise!
Wow, this is lovely. This is lovely.
When I contacted Greg, it was about.
You're really quiet, Joe. Why are you quiet again?
Oh, just shy.
Yeah.
Is that? Oh God.
Does
why is-
go quiet.
now?
unless it's just
what
me.
about- I can't do that the whole time.
Yeah, you can.
There we go. Yeah.
I contacted Greg because we'd just started. talking about you trying to teach me about cricket,
Right.
and I had discovered Greg was a huge cricket fan, and I listened to Tail Enders, Greg. I didn't understand a word. Genuinely, I was like,
Right.
wow.
Yeah.
I could easily make this a cricket episode,
But,
and
yeah.
I'm sort of aware Joe's. I'm trying to think whether to be
No,
selfish
I'll
or not.
happily listen to something I don't understand.
Yeah, but I think that's part of the joy of cricket is that even when you love it, and David, are you a big Test cricket fan as well, right? So
That's all I like.
so-
I don't really follow county.
right. So but I think Test cricket is obviously the most complicated part of cricket and format of it. But even when you love it as much as we do, you don't actually. There are bits that you still don't understand. And there'll
Yeah.
be bits that you'll go, oh, okay, I see what they were doing there, or you don't quite understand the statistics sometimes. So,
Look at that. Look at that.
No,
Look how
right.
thick it is.
right,
There's no way I know all of that.
On any subject, that's even your own life.
Except I think I do.
yeah, but there's lots of nothing, which I think is important in life, is to have lots of nothing.
Yeah, but it's building towards something, isn't it? It's never nothing.
Yeah, there's
Never nothing.
always something, and it's. We always say on the podcast, we always talk about Test cricket as being a little bit like life in 5 days. You've got everything. You've got the real mundane stuff. You've got really exciting stuff. You've got sort of tragedy, heartbreak, real sadness, real joy, elation, everything. But then, and at the end of it all, it can be a draw. So you kind of go, well, that was a complete fucking waste of time.
Yeah.
A bit like life.
That's what you were talking about on the emergency one, and there was you had the last podcast was the
Right, yeah.
and it was you basically were saying that you were sort of working out whether you should celebrate drawing.
I was just trying to think, what do you
How's they on about?
thing is, it's not it is a draw, but it's all part of the Test series.
Yeah.
So, you know.
There's always that's the other thing is that there's always, and it's the same with any sport, I guess, but with Test cricket in particular, there's games within a game. So you've got, and then within those games, other games, and it just goes on and on and on. So, for example, the context of the series was that England were being completely obliterated, but there was a moment where they could make the obliteration not quite as terrible, and they managed to do it. And there's also history that Jimmy Anderson was the one who had to play out the last few balls and survive in order for the match to be a draw. That's happened a few times before, because he's always goes in at the death, hence tail ender. He's a tail ender batsman. So there's always these bits of drama that always happen.
There's loads of stuff. It's a cricket. Test cricket is a novel.
It is a novel. Yeah.
And a game of football is a pamphlet.
The Beano.
Beano. Is Jimmy Anderson really shit at batting? Because I saw you bowl him out in the nets. How bad is he? Am I better than him? Can I talk about my career, please?
Well, I'll just say a one-word answer. No, he's not shit at batting. And
No, I knew he wouldn't be.
can I ask you about your career?
Yeah, nah, don't.
No, go on. When did you play?
I played under 16 Sussex.
You played for County?
Yes, I did. I went over to Jersey and hit an unbeaten 50.
Never to return.
I cried when I wasn't picked in the under 13s in front of about 30 boys.
That's come up 6 or 7 times on this.
Were the 30 boys related to the team, or were they just...
Yeah, just in the park.
Gathered them while he got the answer.
Did you play, Greg, or do you play?
I played similarly under 16 minor county for Hertfordshire and East Herts as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
What were you? Were you a bit of both?
I was a little bit of both. I preferred being a batter, because I was obsessed with Graham Hick. He was my favourite player. And I was annoyed because I grew up in Bromley in Kent, and then by the time I was a teenager, we'd moved to Bishop Stortford, and Hertfordshire wasn't quite, because if you're playing for Kent, that's like a proper county.
Yeah.
And but anyway, it didn't matter because I wasn't really good enough. I wasn't
either.
Wasn't mentally cut out for it, really.
I
enjoyed it, and then I liked having.
Joe, I really can't hear you.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, it's something to do with your. It always just.
Right, I'll
It sort of suits this pod, this ep, actually.
I was invited on by Joe, and I've not spoken to him once.
Well, I'll see you in an hour, and I'll just stop recording my end.
Who's that other guy? Is that producer's talking?
Greg, can I have your number and just call you, please?
We sometimes start WhatsApp groups with our guests, and then they sort of peter off after a week when we realise it was a shit idea.
I think it would be a pleasure to be in a group with you two and John Kearns as well. I'd like to throw
John in.
Yeah. And my other pal, who you probably know, Pat Cahill. So we'll shove him in.
Yeah.
So we all live
Is he
together.
still doing live stuff?
He is, yeah. He's doing some live stuff now that live stuff's come back, and he's just a very lovely man.
Do you know Pat through Jane? Through John?
We all lived together at uni. We all met.
Oh, good lord!
In a big,
Right.
big house.
How did you go from uni to the Radio 1 breakfast show, please? And how do I do it as well?
Yeah. Any lucky breaks, or was it pure drive?
Well, I'm pleased that you've got me on to talk about my new book, Breakfast Show Numbers.
Yeah.
Well, it's taken me 14 years to get to the breakfast show. So I'm now.
Yeah, but hang on a minute. Like, because when I was like 21, I was raking bunkers in a golf course, listening to Chris Evans, thinking, I want to be part of his posse.
Not even I want to be in charge.
I had no idea how to get from the bunkers to his posse, but you've managed it.
I did a lot of. So we did English and drama at university, and I did a lot of. We did a lot of shows, a lot of performances. We put on a lot of things, sort of comedy nights and cabaret things, and all the rest of it. But I did a lot of student radio, and
did you?
It was UEA Norwich. They had a really good, a great student radio station, and on my first day, they have the Freshers' Fair thing. A guy who's since become a really good mate of mine, Big Dave. He was in his last year, but it was like an eternal student, to stay there forever. But he ran the student radio station and was just flyering and said, "Would you like to come and do anything on the radio?" And I'd always been interested in it, and I'd done a little bit of stuff at hospital radio, and I'd sort of helped out at a local hospital radio station because I was obsessed with it. But then I got into student radio and then never left, and that was basically it. And then just did loads of shows, and then Radio 1. Long story short, they kind of spotted me through the Student Radio Awards. Yeah, there was an awards thing that you enter a demo, and then they spotted me through that. And then when I finished my university course, I was invited to London to do a couple of tryouts, a couple of pilots, and then...
How old were you?
I was 21 when I was literally the day after my graduation. I had my first show. It was mad.
What, on Radio 1?
Yeah, it was crazy.
Look how annoyed he looks, Greg.
No, I'm just absolutely I was being bullied by a 5'1" greenkeeper. How'd you do that?
Yeah, but I'll say this to you. Where's that greenkeeper now?
He's Dermot O'Leary.
Yeah. Mr. O'Leary. Oh, here he comes.
Here comes Dermot.
There's always a lot of luck involved in these sorts of things and timing. And there was a spot for me. They were getting rid of a couple of presenters, and they wanted someone a bit cheaper. I think.
What was the show they offered you? The first one.
Well, I started on the early breakfast show, which was 4 till 6:30 before Moyles, before Chris Moyles. And that was
okay.
2007.
This is the best episode I've ever. You were on before Chris Moyles.
Yeah, in 2007, Comedy Dave. Yeah.
Did you have a crossover? When you were leaving, he was.
Well, there was the maddest thing is that he didn't really speak to me for about a year. He didn't because he's one of those people that I think, sort of territorial, and he was this new kid, a southerner university, who's this snotty sort of student.
Yeah, I sort of get that. Yeah.
He was right. Yeah. But in it took about 12 months, and then
how did you win him over?
He really liked sausages.
Sure.
So
hang on a minute. I've got to go back to. You've been given a slot. Like he's had the Radio 1 breakfast show for 10 years or something.
Did it for nearly 10. Yeah.
You're 21. You're on before. How were you not nervous?
Yeah, but also it was so bizarre that I didn't, because I just had to move to London it just all happened very quickly. I had to move to London and get sorted with that and work out what to do, because I'd just done student radio shows, and I'd done a few shows on Galaxy Radio in the Northeast, and I'd done a few tryouts and cover shows there, but nothing like Radio 1. But I'd listened to it forever, so I knew what was sort of expected, and I knew the DJs really well, and not personally, but I knew everything about them before I even got there, and it felt sort of, it was a very weird time, very, very weird to sort of jump from university to suddenly go, goodbye guys, I'm off to London.
How was everyone around you when you said, because everyone tends to go on the dole after they leave uni, and you were like, I'm moving to West London to be successful, and
God, that's unbelievable.
It was bizarre. I think I remember the first sort of year, I thought, oh my God, this is the most amazing thing ever. And then you go, oh God, well, when's it going to end? Surely it's going to end in a minute. And then I think just horrible anxiety kicked in for the next five years.
Oh, that's better. That's
what,
good.
5 years? What? Well, were you doing that show for 5 years?
I did 2 years on that show, and then I did 2 and a bit years on the afternoon show, so Edith Bowman's old show. And then I moved from that show to Drive Time, and I did that for 6 years.
Wow,
and then
this is astonishing.
And then I've been doing 3 years on Breakfast.
Is Breakfast? Breakfast is the one you want to get to, right? Like Drive Time's sort of like Championship, and Breakfast is Premiership. You're basically your Man City. Your Man City.
Champions League.
You're PSG.
I'm opening the batting for England.
Yeah, well, I don't understand that. But yeah, I get. I don't know what you mean.
Honestly, it is. You're doing it, so you're used to it, Greg. It's amazing that how many people get to do the Radio 1 Breakfast show. Like, not many. Yeah,
not many. It does still feel very, very special, even though I don't like getting up. But
who are the big names who've done it, like, over the years?
Moyles, Cox, Evans.
Huge Evans was.
Steve Wright.
Mayo,
yeah. Kevin Greening. Yeah, some really... Noel Edmonds.
Wow. Hello.
Tony Blackburn, of course, the first one.
No,
a lot of old white men.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Blackburn was the first one. Yeah.
How good is Chris Moyles on the radio when you watch him up close? Do you think, Christ, he knows what he's doing?
Yeah, well, Moyles and Scott Mills were the ones that I listened to as a kid and thought, oh my God, that's really amazing how they're managing to bring all these, not only people together, but all the clips and the sound effects and just all the timing of all the bits on the radio has always really fascinated me. So that's something that I've really always loved. I think all the clips and just the way that you can you have to piece things together. Yeah, Moyles is a sort of master at using all that stuff, and it was amazing to sort of be there at the same time as those huge names. I mean, it was the time of Zane Lowe and Joe Wiley, and you had it was sort of the Giles Peterson era when Pete Tong was, and Judge Jules and all those people. They were just so famous, and it was cool. It just didn't feel real actually for the first time. No, it just felt completely bizarre.
I remember reading Chris Moyles always stands up when he's broadcasting.
I've never understood that. I can't.
That just keeps you on your toes, and
I don't know why would you stand up when you can sit down?
Yeah,
I've never understood that.
It'd be a little bit worse. Just sit down, be a bit crapper at it.
Yeah.
Thanks
for the critique.
Yeah. not you.
No, imagine someone said, I've listened to your show. Do you sit down? Yeah, I thought so.
Sounds like you're sitting down again. I got shown.
So how many hours do you do in the morning? Do you mind us talking about Radio 1?
No, not at all.
For an hour.
How many hours do you do in the morning?
I do 7 till 10:30.
Right, and how much of that is... It's obviously you're all tightly structured. You know who's coming on when, or...
Yeah, a bit. It's very listener-led, so we tend to set up a couple of bits, but we leave a lot of space for it to be freewheeling, which is nice. So there's always bits. There's always a couple of bits that we know are happening, but there's always space for something stupid. So the show is supposed to be quite reactive to everything that's happening. So like the Boris Johnson party thing last night, or whatever happened, the Damon Albarn Taylor Swift thing that happened last night.
Yeah.
There's always space to do a thing about it. And there was no. What did we do today? We had Samuel L. Jackson is filming a Marvel thing in Huddersfield. So that was immediately funny, and we got some people who were just running around Huddersfield trying to find him, and there was someone who was in the same restaurant, the same Italian restaurant as him on Friday, and there's lots of stuff. There's loads of fun stuff you can do with listeners, because there's lots of them listening and up for taking part. So yeah, there are bits, but we like to just have space to do stupid stuff.
I've got a restaurant story if you want to hear.
Please.
Thank you. My brother-in-law and my sister were walking through this little restaurant in Sussex, and they're all dressed up. So like Saturday night, and he had his shirt on, his smart trousers, shoes, walking through the restaurant past the tables, and he just heard a "nice shoes," and he turned round. It's John Travolta, and the restaurant said, "Nice shoes."
Thank you, John, or thank you,
very
Mr.
much.
Travolta.
That's quite mad, isn't it?
Yeah. What was it? And there was nothing else said.
No, that was just it. There's just a nice click to the heel on the marble.
Your brother-in-law is Tom Cruise, though, isn't he?
Yeah. So, Greg, when you sit down at 6:59, are we all ready? Okay, let's go. Bang. Or are you, fucking hell, what am I going to say first?
Basically, how panicked
You're
are you?
comfortable
What's the
now,
worst
aren't you?
you've ever been panicked? Basically, tell us that
Please tell
story.
me you're
How
human.
badly has it gone, and when?
Yeah, it can be really horrible. I mean, it can. I mean, it's all relative.
You're like that, though, aren't you? At the top, you're just like, we all ready? We all set? Okay, let's go.
Yeah, it is a bit. It's cabin crew doors to manual. Let's go.
Oh shit!
Well, we've done a sort of just about an hour or so of prep before the show, just talking through the bits, and I've got a brilliant load of people that I work with, and they always help find the funny things or whatever. But yeah, there's always a weird moment every morning, which is, oh shit, it's happening. If I don't talk now, talk now, then it doesn't happen. Yeah, that I always find that quite weird. You know, you have those sort of intrusive thoughts where you go,
But this is what we're skirting round, basically, because
you must get it on stage all the time, and you go, if I don't walk on that, nothing will happen.
It's true, actually, because you go into autopilot, don't you?
Yeah.
You just have to.
So I think during the pandemic, there was a lot of autopilot of just, oh fucking hell, oh god, how are we going to summon any sort of fun here? But no, it's a very exciting thing. I remember my first day of the breakfast show vividly, and I thought I didn't sleep obviously the night before, because you suddenly think about sort of the weight of history. For people who are just up at 7 o'clock, they just want, something to not be shit.
Who did you follow?
Nick Grimshaw.
Nick
Grimshaw finished in 2018, and I started then. But it was weirdly the first morning. I think because I'd waited for such a long time to just maybe one day have a go at this show. I was the sort of weirdly 5 minutes before I was the calmest I've ever been, and just went, oh, I think I can probably do this, because the listeners had known me for ages, and I'd sort of been doing radio shows like in a bedroom like this since I was about 12. So it felt quite nice in a way, because I thought, well, if I'm not comfortable here, then I can't really be. I'm most comfortable probably in that room, I'd say.
Yeah. Well, I sort of want to give you a hug.
Please.
I just think it's amazing. It's amazing. Can't believe it.
Oh, well, that's very nice. I don't really get to talk that much about it very often, so it's nice to talk to you about it.
I remember listening to, was it probably Chris Moores or Chris Evans, and they'd talk about the listening figures, and it always felt like a moment where, if they've dipped, is my manager going to come in, my boss, and say, "Hey, are the listening figures a worrying part of the year, or is it just?"
I've tried not to get too stressed about them, really.
Yeah.
And also weirdly, they switched them off during the pandemic. They just didn't count them.
Right.
And it's because they couldn't, because they do face-to-face sort of surveying and all that kind of bullshit.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
They couldn't do it in case the surveyors got COVID because of data.
Right.
Data COVID.
Yeah.
And I, it was quite blissful. We were all just sat there going, well, we're just doing this because we think it's good, and not that we're being lazy, but we just kind of go, oh well, does it actually matter any of this?
Yeah.
Did you
And
do it?
obviously, I guess it does somehow.
Did you do it from home as well? Could you do it?
No, I've been going in every day.
Oh,
so
well, you
I was
didn't. At
going
no
in.
point did you do it at home and sort of thing.
No, it was always straight through. I was technically a key worker, and I thank you for your clapping.
I would say
absolutely.
this is for Greg, not the nurses. When
Were
I
you
was
thinking of me when you were hitting the wok on the doorstep?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But the listening figures thing, I don't get too stressed by it because why? What's the point? I never cared when I was listening to, even when I was watching my favorite comedies or listening to my favorite people. I never cared really how many other people were listening to it. And if
we do, Greg.
Yeah,
So.
we're chart. Well, I personally am chart
how are your
obsessed.
figures?
Well,
your
if you really
figures?
want to know,
I'll tell you
because
what, you want to know, they're fucking going up.
yeah,
That's,
but we're still stuck at around 24. Our highest is
What in the chart?
yeah, we're sort of jammed there. Cannot shift it. Other people around us must be doing okay, which
Frustrating,
is very frustrating because I'm prepared to push people down on the way up.
Well, I'm more than happy to shout about this podcast.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
And
What
get
about-
you up the dizzy heights of 23.
The only thing is, there'll be a lot of people that'll be disappointed. It might work against us. I can just imagine those bad reviews rolling in.
But you had Harry Hill recently.
Yes, yeah.
Big name.
He shifted
Yeah.
some numbers.
Shifted some units.
This is a business. This is very much business first. We're trying
Let's
to
ruin
sell.
the magic of radio by call it it's units now.
Yeah.
Oh, do you know what I want to know? What time do you set the alarm? And do you get enough sleep?
I don't get enough sleep, and that's why I look.
Fabulous.
I feel slightly
Way better.
yeah. About 52 years
What time do
younger
you
than
go
us.
to bed? How much sleep do you actually get, and when do you get up?
Someone in that house. Let me just shut the door. Someone's being loud.
Someone's having a wait. Look at, he's got his PJs on. He's got his
Actually,
PJs
I've got my pajamas.
Yeah.
PJs on. Bit of respect, son.
The snotty student coming on this podcast.
Is this
Yeah.
because we're 24th? Wouldn't do this for off menu, would you?
Not been invited on that.
Oh.
So,
No, right, okay.
Fair enough.
what are we talking about?
What time do you set the alarm? How much sleep do you actually get, and when do you wake up?
I go to bed at around about 9:45, and I'm up at about 5. And that's fine. I don't really ever moan about the sleep thing. Is fine.
But my thing is, you do not panic in the night thinking, oh, what if I don't wake up when the alarm...
Yeah. There's often a little bit of and I wait. There's always a time you wake up and you look at the clock and it's 2:30 or 3 and you go, yes, I've got 2 hours.
Yeah.
But then when you
just-
wake up and it's 4:30, you go, oh,
I used to set my alarm before I was with my missus. I used to set my alarm for 4. I used to have 2 alarms, one for 4 and one for 7:30.
What, for that little moment?
Yeah, so I'd get there every morning, and then we started going over the show, and she was like, "What the fuck?" And I
quite
was
like that.
so I'd have that 3.5. I'd go, "Yes, 3.5 hours, yes." And then
but that's valuable because for 10 minutes
it's horrendous. Yeah,
before 5 a.m. is really worth 2 hours in real life.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think the getting up is obviously a nightmare. And you, for about 5 minutes, I just go, oh my God, I hate it. And then you get used to it and you're fine. But I think the hardest thing that no one really talks about with those sorts of shows is that you just have to be good immediately. And so at 7, or a lot of breakfast shows start at 6. I'm quite lucky, but you have to be good at 6 o'clock is a really weird thing. I mean, that's just like no one performs at 6 o'clock in the morning. It's a weird thing. So I think that's the hardest bit of it.
we did this shit because we do it every morning, and
Yeah, I guess we're similar to Greg.
yeah,
our
we're very
shows.
similar numbers.
What time do you normally? Because I know. Thanks for doing it late, by the way.
not at all,
What time
not
do
at
you
all.
normally record?
Well, usually about
9, 8, 9.
But we were filming something last year, and so we would do it at 6 every morning.
Oh, earlier. So I'll get a text from Joe at 5.
Yeah, it'd be about 15:15,
Yeah.
sort of Yeah,
Oh,
half
no,
on.
it's disrespectful what's happening on this.
Who are they? Will they come
Who
on?
are they?
What the fuck that was? Well, no, one
do you live
of
in a
those
squat?
characters. One of those characters was my wife. I
for
don't know who
God.
the other person was. I don't know. Is
Is she
trying to-
aware of Chatterbix?
Is she
Was
a
she having
chatter
a-
biscuit?
I don't think she's aware of it. But I wonder if she's having an affair and thought she's coming to the spare room.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
got me in here
And
again.
then
For
sort
us
of-
to go upstairs.
Did she ask you to put your headphones on? Put your headphones on just for half an hour.
Are they loud enough? So, sorry, Joe. You were really interrupted by
No, not
that
at all.
madness.
Yeah, we'd start at sort of 5:45, and how because we discuss this a lot about how someone like yourself, you're going to have good and bad days. Everyone does, but you have to be on an even keel. Because me and David because obviously we're not doing your sort of show, we would literally talk about how miserable we were feeling at 5:45 and how we didn't want to do it and stuff like.
But I like that. The last episode, you said you'd cut out all the good bits and you're about to hear a load of shit.
David is our PR guru. Basically, well, the only time I've noticed we really promote it is because we have a Twitter account, and David will go, by the way, today's F is toss. Just to let you know, we never
it's just a
sort of go.
warning, isn't it?
It's never go. This is a belter today.
That's the amazing thing actually about podcasts. I've always found is that, especially with tail enders, that people like it when it's a bit shit.
Yeah.
And that's that's what we all like. That I mean, we
Yeah.
all like stuff that's honest, and so I just have to temper that a little bit with the breakfast show, and it does have to be the bass note does have to be uplifting.
Yeah.
So what do
But
you
there are
do?
definitely moments where we're very honest and just say this didn't work, or the
Yeah.
world is shit, and I think that is
All right.
it would be completely
Yeah, it would be weird. Yeah, if you didn't.
it would be insincere, and also why people listening to that would just go, why are you pretending like the world's
Yeah,
fine?
exactly.
I mean,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
that's sometimes that's what a lot of commercial stations have to do. Is that
Yeah.
everything's absolutely fine. Good morning, traffic and travel coming next.
That's bloody
Superb,
good.
super.
That sort of
You've
thing
always
is-
got that to fall back on. I genuinely
Yeah.
mean it.
Well, it did.
How do you know Jimmy, Greg? Was he put together for the pod?
Amazingly with Jimmy, in 2011, him and Graham Swan.
Who might be coming on
Oh,
Chatterbix?
he would love this.
Yeah, he said yes. Yeah.
Okay. Well, if you get him, he's a little flaky. He's a very, very
Is he?
great man.
Is he now? Yeah.
But
Good impersonations.
yeah, good everything.
Yeah.
You'll have
Yeah.
He's really loose. He's great.
Yeah.
I would say maybe do it at night time when he's had a few.
Okay.
Him and Jimmy wanted to do a radio show because they're big fans of music. They're really into their music, and they just wanted to do something that wasn't just about cricket. And so they came up with a show called Not Just Cricket, which is nice
Yeah.
to play on.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they wanted a host that wasn't a sports pundit who talked in sports speak, and they knew that I loved cricket, and they knew that I had like a music connection with Radio 1 and everything. And at the time I was quite young, and they got me to do this show, and we did a few specials on 5 Live. And it ran for about 3 or 4 years, and we did some amazing shows. Like we did one live at Trent Bridge, and Joe Root was a guest, and he'd just broken into the England side, and it was
Bloody
amazing to get him as a boy essentially.
Yeah.
And then it just sort of naturally stopped, I guess. And Jimmy was playing, then Swanee retired, and he had to go off and do other work and whatever. But then and I just became good mates with Jimmy over that time, and we then had an idea to do a podcast.
Yeah.
Why don't we bring back the spirit of Not Just Cricket and do a loosely cricket-based podcast? And then, so Jimmy was up for it. And then I thought it would be nice to get somebody else who we'd had on Not Just Cricket as a guest. And that's when we got Felix White from Maccabees involved. He's a massive cricket nut as well, loves the game, is as nerdy about it as everyone else is. And it's just sort of happened like that. And it's just gone on to, as I said, you just don't know how these things go. Like those shows can just find their little audience, and I do love those things which have their little audience. Nice, they're niche, aren't they? And they just everyone listening gets all the little jokes, and they get all the little nuances of it. And,
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
yeah, we
Have
love
you done live shows? You haven't you?
Yeah, we did. We did a tour in October last year, and we did about 7 dates, and it was just amazing because Felix.
That must be so easy. They're all on your side.
Yeah, just a great home gig, isn't it?
Yeah.
And so Felix, but we wanted to make it good, so we
Oh no.
probably did it. And
Just turn up and do it.
Yeah. Keep it short. Get in, get out. Sell some merch. shop
if
your
anything,
pot.
I care too much. If I have a failing, but so Felix put a band together. So we had basically half the Maccabees, and then we came up with some good bits, and then and Jimmy was just. He's Jimmy. He can just turn up and be Jimmy Anderson because
exactly.
Just fall, they melt in front of him. I've never seen.
Yeah. Well, I would. I think I'd throw up.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? There's a tier of sports person. If you love sport, then I've seen grown men properly melt in the presence of Jimmy, and they just panic and they go, five wickets, 10 towards.
I bet.
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
But it's
How old is it? Is he 39 or 40?
he's 39. Yeah.
So obviously, when you watch him bowl, it's incredible that he's 39. Running to bowl, still bowling well. But up close, do you look at him and go, "Fuck me, you're old"? Does he look old?
We actually had
He's
discussion
outside a lot, isn't he?
where he's out in the sun, and that's
Like, is his face starting to change?
No, we have this joke on the podcast where, because we were all in lockdown for a couple of years and we were all on these Zooms and we all looked terrible on Zoom, that when Jimmy started playing again and he was in glorious AHD on Sky Sports, that everyone just went, fucking hell, he's so handsome. It's like, I'm watching a movie star playing the role of a cricketer.
Yeah.
So he's still, I mean, he is like a movie star because it's kind of his job to look great and be fit and just be good at running around and bowling. So no, he doesn't look old. I think he looks ridiculously good for his age.
Looking at pictures.
Do you remember his hair when he first started?
Yeah, his red hair. He's had little red streaks.
Yeah.
The best one is when he dyed it blonde. So do you remember that?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
God. Yeah. We said he looked like Gary Barlow when he was having a breakdown.
So, have you faced him at full pelt in the nets?
I have.
What's it like?
It's horrible. It's really horrible.
Because I saw them. I don't go to watch much cricket, but I saw England. It was Tendulkar's last match at Lord's, and Tremlett was playing Peterson, Jimmy Anderson, Swan. I couldn't believe how quick Jimmy Anderson was. I knew he was quick, but fuck me.
It's sort of over before you know it. That's how the best way to describe it is when I was facing it. You're going through, because I couldn't clear my head because I'm not a professional cricketer. You're thinking about all the things that could happen, and ultimately you're thinking about death. This could be it. Yeah. But also, what a way to go. So you think about all those things, your brain's running away with you. But before you can even think about it, your stumps are on the ground. And because he's got a sort of, at that speed and that skill level, the thing I noticed is that the ball just is on a different trajectory than any other ball you've ever faced. And it just ducks under your eye line so quickly that you're just not trained to look at it. And it's like a tracer bullet, and he knows exactly where it's going to go. And he's also really amazing at darts, and that's not a massive surprise, but he has the most incredible aim. And he will say it's going to go there, and it will go there.
So if he took darts up, he'd be hot as fuck, wouldn't he? He'd look amazing in the darts, wouldn't you?
What compared to the other darts players, you mean? He'd just be like that, right? Do you reckon he will sidestep into that if he's good at arrows?
I think he could. He's also quite a good golfer, apparently.
Oh, he's one of those. He's one of those.
Joe Root's good as well, isn't he?
A lot of the cricketers are good golfers. Yeah, they're quite good at it, which I guess makes sense. But yeah, he's just one of those annoying people that's really good at all sports things. And also the fascinating thing that is probably quite boring for people who don't like cricket. Sorry, Joe, but
no, that's all right. I'm watching iPlayer.
We talk.
He probably is good as well.
watching an
Catching up
old
on-
a bit of Only Fools and Horses. I haven't seen this one in ages.
He's so when it's not about him, he's so fucking rude. This guy.
It's funny. I've actually been spending quite a lot of time with you two recently because of Afterlife and Sex Education. I'm well up to date on all of it. And
Yeah.
it's
Sorry,
amazing.
sorry about that. Sorry.
Oh, he's woken up now. Oh, it's about me now.
It's like that. You like that?
Anyway, back to iPlayer. Oh,
Greg, I wanted to get.
I was just going to say, sorry, just quick about his. But he shows you the skill he has with his fingers. Careful, and he has got the most amazing sort of technique with it all. And in the last second, he can decide to change where the ball's going to go with the smallest adjustment of around the ball. And when he gets talking like that, it's really fascinating to just to see that the level of practice that he's had to do and all the learning that he's done over the years. It's not the fact that he's sustained a level of excellence. He every time he trains and every time he plays, he wants to get better at it and learn a new thing.
Yeah.
Sort of amazing, really. That's why he's still great.
I just thought you've got Jimmy Anderson, you've got Ronaldo, you've got Tom Brady in the American football world.
Yeah.
What's my point?
you just naming people you've heard of.
Old people that are still performing at the highest
Yeah.
level. What's my point?
Not Andy Murray. I think there's not necessarily Andy Murray who's still at the top of his
Federer?
game. Federer definitely.
Yeah.
But I know that Jimmy has an affinity with Andy Murray because of the way that they battle the critics of he's past it, he's he's injured, all the rest of it. So I think Andy Murray and Jimmy have got quite a lot in common in that way that they really battle it. I think Andy sort of shows his battle a bit more than Jimmy does, but Jimmy behind the scenes works so hard to keep.
Yeah, you've got to still want, because I was looking at Tom Brady sort of going grey. I was like, he still wants to chuck that bloody ball.
But that's the thing, though. He loves it.
Yeah.
Like, we were texting him during the Ashes, saying, "Oh my God, are you okay? Are you depressed? Is this the worst?" And he said, "Yeah, it's not great, but I still love it."
Well, maybe it doesn't sound like he cares that much, really, about the team.
Why do you say that?
Well, he should be going, no, I feel awful. This is going really terribly.
did they lose?
And we need
Right.
to do something. Yeah.
I'm having a great time.
Yeah. I want to get Joe in the nets facing, because he sort of looks down his nose at cricket and he thinks football's brilliant, blah, 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 blah. But I want to get him in the nets facing 90 miles an hour.
Did you ever play it, Joe? Did you ever play it as a kid?
My dad loved cricket, and when we were kids, he tried to make me. He took me to a couple of Sunday morning things, and I used to just pray for rain,
Right.
basically. And then, like after a couple of weeks, my dad realised I had no interest in it, and that's it. I've never and Dave. I jokingly got a bit sort of. I took the piss out of it, and David. The reaction. I wasn't expecting the reaction I got from David. He got really cross with me. And said it's only because I don't understand the.
Do you know what I mean, Greg? I got cross.
You got cross, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I got cross.
Well, I just said, I think I said, and I can't believe, I shouldn't say something, I said, it all looks a bit boring to me.
Yeah.
And David went, oh, right, well, that's because you're an idiot and you don't know anything about it. And I was like, I just thought he would sort of...
Fair point, fair comment.
Fair point.
Yeah.
So,
Great,
that's the thing. It's
I've got you on.
but I think everything.
Brian, you're my guest, not David's.
Not now.
Yeah, but I guess everything looks boring if you don't know what it is.
Well,
That's
but
what I
David
said,
has been-
Greg. That's what I said.
But he has been teaching me stuff, and on my life there was stuff I was like going, oh, okay, had no idea, and of course I started to go, well, that's much more interesting. And I was saying about my friend took me to see some tennis, and he explained some stuff to tennis with me, and I loved it because he was explaining.
You didn't understand tennis.
Not the detail. Well, the ball has to go over the thing in the mid. No, it's like he told me the details of like Andy Murray's.
What I didn't like about it is like going, try a banana. Nah, it's boring.
I don't want a banana. I genuinely
Well,
don't.
try it. They taste like no. They want to try
Do you actually like
taste
bananas?
one?
No, I hate
like that,
bananas.
but
I hate
like bananas.
Have you ever you've tried bananas?
No, I genuinely haven't.
Try a fucking banana,
I'm
please.
Do it now.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
Now.
What do you like? What do you like?
I like satsumas.
Right. Okay. Imagine if you'd never had a satsuma because they look like a pain in the arse.
Because they look like a banana.
Well, anyway, you know my point.
Well, anyway, but I have learned bits, and I have appreciated a little bit more, and that is going to continue. David's going to give me a bit of info. And
But that's all it is. The problem with cricket is there's lots of stuff, and it looks overwhelming. And like, why is everyone dressed in white? What's all that stuff on the scoreboard?
It's the sun, isn't it? The white clothes.
Yes,
Is it?
and there's your answer.
Yeah.
But there's like, there's like what's all that stuff on the scoreboard? Who are the old
Well,
men?
it's a run.
Why are they all standing around eating bananas?
Yeah.
But when you know about the little battles that are going on, then you'll really love it.
Well, that was the bit I liked. The bit David said that got me in was when he said about wicket keepers gobbing off at the batsman to put them off, and I was like, dude, that I was like, right, that I'm interested. Now I'm sort of like going, okay, what do you mean? Because I thought when you think about cricket, you think everyone's just sort of
When you think about cricket.
when one thinks about cricket, they go, oh, just chaps, but not someone going, you piece of shit, that, or something, or
Why
whatever.
do you like that side, you piece of shit?
Well, you said that's what you said.
But
I don't know. Do they say you piece of shit? I don't know. I've never been that close to a wicket keeper.
I think they say a lot worse as well. But that's sort of why we started Tailenders, because there is people think cricket is one thing, but actually the people who really know it know that it's not just that. That is a minority. The sort of posho red trouser brigade wearing suits and ties at the cricket is like one bit of it. It's a loud bit of it, but it's a small bit of it. But really, cricket's all about village cricket and celebrating the underdog, particularly English cricket. We've been terrible mainly forever, and there's moments of joy, but it's like we quite like the pain of it as well, because it can be quite a sad sport. There's when you're playing village cricket, there's tragedy everywhere. People breaking ankles and people getting hit in the head from dropped catches and stuff, and people just drinking, smoking on the boundary and stuff. It's an amazing.
Sort of getting a bit more into it now.
Right. Okay. So
Also, teas are huge in cricket. What are you going to have at 5 o'clock?
Teas. What
Donuts,
are you having
sausages.
for your tea? Yeah.
Oh, when you play for Chidding Lice, you come in with these roasties, and it's all about what's going on out there. Let's chomp on these.
that's it. But that is, and also when
roast.
a day out of the cricket, that sometimes the least fun bit of it actually is the cricket, and it's about everyone sitting around and catching up with people, and it just, the pace of life is different when you're watching a test match. Everything slows down, and you can enjoy all the bits of it. And there's, actually, like you said, it's like a novel, isn't it? But there's loads of fun stuff, and the characters, the characters in the game are amazing. Not only the wicket keepers, but Felix, who does the podcast with us, he is obsessed with spinners, and particularly left arm spinners. They tend to be the outsiders, the rogues. So I feel like, Joe, you might have an affinity for some of the spinners of the game, like your Phil Tufnells of the world, those sorts of people.
Yeah.
Right.
Greg, I've got something to tell you. It's just come into my head.
Please.
Do you play Cricket 22 on PlayStation?
I don't. Do you know what? I had a self-imposed ban on video gaming about 4 years ago. Hang on. I haven't told you. Hang on. If you play the career mode, when you get picked for England, suddenly this face will appear. I'm the England manager on Cricket 22. What are you talking about?
Oh, really? What am I talking about? Well,
What do you
let
mean?
me explain.
What do you mean you're a manager?
So Big Ant, who made Cricket 22, got in touch with me. Said, "Do you want to be on the new?" Well, yeah. Yes, I do. And so I had to take loads of photos, and they've created me as the England manager. And there's a scene where if you make it into the England side, you come and meet me. And everyone around, so Joe Root's there, Jimmy Anderson's there, they're all stood around, and I'm there saying, "Good luck, kid, give it your best."
You're not.
Yeah.
David, when you told me this, I thought it was just on your version of it.
No.
I thought it was you. They could put you in your version of the game.
No, I'm on every
Well, that's
game.
a bit. I wonder why you were telling me this.
That's amazing.
I play cricket. I play on Twitch a lot, Greg, and I play cricket almost every day. And to get through lockdown, because I was struggling mentally, I pretended to be England manager. And yeah, so they got into contact, and I was like, wow, yeah. And
So
then
you're
invite
in
me
everyone-
over to invite me over to the Boxing Day Test match.
That's why they did
Little
that.
box. I couldn't make it because of COVID, but anyway.
This makes
This
a
is
lot more
extraordinary.
sense.
But I need to get back into it because
Oh, honestly, it's such a good game.
yeah.
Did you play Cricket 19?
No,
It's so good.
my favourite ever game was Brian Lara cricket. Yeah, of course it was.
This is next level. Like they've got Jimmy Anderson's action. They've got.
So you're in it. So
I am the England.
Sure, can you send me a clip of it? Have you got? They must have sent you what you're
I'll
going to
tell you
do.
what I've got here,
Because this is
which
meant.
you might like.
so you had to record all the voices and everything. Did you?
No,
do
they asked me to do the voice, and I sort of backed out because I got worried at some.
Why did you get worried?
Because I thought I've got to act, and I don't want them to go. Oh God, the way he's performing.
You should have done. You should have done Gittins as the manager.
I know. Yeah, I know. Oh, how do I send this?
Can you send it to the Zoom so we both get it? Is that possible?
Yeah.
Share your screen if it's not.
Oh yeah.
How do you do
Honestly, I was so excited. I really recommend playing that game. So I've sent you a picture. This is me about a month before I was complete.
Weirdly, I'm nervous. You are much better looking on a computer
I'm
game.
stunning on that game.
You are. Look at the perfect shape of your neck.
Oh, honestly, can you imagine spending a night on that chest?
Honestly, the amount. Look at you. You know.
I'm sorry. No England manager has ever looked like that.
You look like
No.
you look like Bruce Willis.
Yeah, it'd be less about the cricket if he took over, wouldn't it?
You look like a sort of Silicon Valley bloke who's just launching a new app, a wellness or something.
You haven't got any shoulders, but you know they're going to be broad.
But you've got to be managed by him, wouldn't you?
Well,
Don't they?
So they said to me, if
or
they thought,
massaged.
yeah, they said I was going to meet all the England team, and they were going to do it all together, but because of COVID.
That picture you just showed me. There's a quick question. There's no hair on it.
No, that was pre-hair.
Right.
I've now got hair.
You sent me the full thing, didn't you? When it was done, and I genuinely, I thought I didn't know it was actually going in the full Monty game.
That's what you're dealing with, Greg. Not some guy sometimes watches cricket.
No.
You're talking to the
England manager.
England manager in another world.
Full respect. Well, there might be a vacancy. Imagine that guy
Yeah.
turned up. The new guy.
Yeah, raise some eyebrows, wouldn't it?
We've replaced Chris Silverwood with this bald man.
With the man with the shiniest head on the
This
planet.
computerized bald man.
Yeah.
Stunning
Dear.
bald man. Fucking hell.
Oh, I really recommend playing that game, though.
Yeah, I think I should get involved. You know, I really. It sort of goes back to my early breakfast days where I would finish the show and then go and play Grand Theft Auto all day. And it wasn't great for my social life, mental health, well-being, skin, weight.
Can you
all
slip
those things.
back into it for a bit?
What are you trying to say? What are you trying to say? Yeah.
But I'll get back onto it. Yeah. Well, if I've learned nothing else today, it's that I'm gonna start gaming.
Well, Ben Stokes is on there, and Jofra Archer started following me when I was playing once. It's like,
Really?
fucking hell, Jofra started following me. I tried to play it cool, and hey, how you doing, buddy?
They all play. Yeah, Jimmy plays Call of Duty, I think.
Does he?
They all play. Yeah, they played a lot of it during lockdown. So they're
Get him
always
into
on.
Cricket 22
Yeah.
and see what he thinks about that
Imagine
guy.
we turn up and Jimmy Anderson's playing as Jimmy Anderson. But one of the things I've always sort of taken the piss out of Jimmy for is that when we were doing our tour, he would sit in his little bunk on the bus and be playing on headphones against sort of 14-year-old French boys. But they have no idea that they're playing Call of Duty
Yeah.
against one of the greatest sports people to have ever lived. Sort of being shooting Jimmy Anderson in the head in a gulag.
Yeah.
Can you have some respect, please, Pierre?
Yeah. I always feel slightly disappointed when I see sportsmen play computer games. I don't know what
Me
it is.
too.
I just want them to be superhuman and
Yeah.
not
What
walk
upsets
this
you about it?
planet.
Just that they're normal.
Yeah. They're just
Unless you
better.
can be Ben Stokes of video games, don't do it. Maybe.
Yeah.
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 Anyway.
Yeah. Oh well.
Oh, there we go.
We've hit that. Thank you so much, Greg.
Thank you, mate. That's
I've had
great.
such a nice time.
Thanks
It's been really lovely getting a little insight into your
Well, thanks. It's been great to.
Wife.
I am.
Don't take your headphones off yet. If I was you.
I wondered why she soundproofed the room.
yeah.
But no, I'm big fans of both of you, and I'm
that's
really
very
kind.
pleased to be on. So, cheers.
And obviously, if there's any tickets for any games, and you go, like, God, who can I ask? But he's a nice guy.
I'd love that. I would actually love to go and watch some cricket. I'd be up for it. I would.
If David could ask you about Radio 1 for another 2 to 3 hours.
What car does Sarah Cox drive?
Thank you, Greg.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks so much.
Loved it.
See you
Thanks a
later.
million. Bye, mate.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.